everyone. Today we got to play Western Legends. So this one I've been very excited to present to you for Western Wednesday. I've been begging people to play this one for a while for Western Wednesday. So I finally got my wish and we got to play this tonight. So it is a open world Western game. But before we get into it, Robert, can you tell us?
No, I can't. Not yet.
Yeah,
I know.
press the magic button.
You got to press the magic button, subscribe, and the notification bell, because you want to be here for the next Western Wednesday.
Right.
We still have a few good ones coming up, like we have Great Western Trail. What's up next?
I'm not sure what's up next. We have to figure out what's up next.
No, I'm talking about the next
we have
couple.
Toontown.
We have
I know.
Toontown
We got
coming up.
there's Wacky Wacky West. We still got a handful of them coming before we shift over into our next series. But
yeah,
we've also got Halloween games coming up, which is my favorite time of year. So we got lots of goodness coming up.
And Gen Con is next week, folks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to see us at Gen Con and hang out with us, we are giving away t-shirts for those that play games with us and see if you can beat us in the game. So super excited. If you want a free t-shirt.
Until supplies run out. And
until supplies
also
run out.
they have to actually beat us before.
Yeah, that's what I said. So, super excited. Now
Now I can talk about the game.
you can talk about the game.
So it came out in 2018. Board Game Geek rating 7.6. Plays 2 to 6. A pretty good size group can play this game. Designer, apologize if I mispronounce this, Hervé Lemaitre. Art is by Roland McDonald. MSRP, this is pricey. $99.99 is the MSRP.
Is that for the main or for all the expansions?
That's just retail for the main game.
Now,
Amazon's got it for $77.63, and I saw a copy on Geek Market used for $50. So for a used game, it's still pretty pricey.
Yeah, there is a lot of components to this. So I will caveat that there are a bunch of expansions in the edition that we played, because basically
And upgrades.
So basically, what happened is the first year it was released at Gen Con, they had one copy left. And so I snagged it while I was there, because I didn't ask Randy. I just ended up buying it because it was the last copy. Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't really care what he thought I wanted it. So anyway, so I bought the game, and I ended up falling in love with it. So we bought all the different expansions as they came out on Kickstarter. So what you see here is the full all the Kickstarter-ness that I could get from that.
That's a new term.
Yeah, totally. Since that piece, and that means the play mats, the poker chips, everything. So let's talk about quality of pieces. So the upgraded poker chips I absolutely love. These are fantastic. The miniatures do come standard. I really appreciate the miniatures in this game. I think card quality I actually think is pretty good. It does have a linen finish. It is pretty thick. It handles all the shuffling really well. The dice you have are very unique, black with a little bit of gold for the gold mining. There's a lot of interesting pieces in this game.
The train skull.
Mm-hmm.
That came in on one of the expansions. Kickstarter's exclusive. Yeah, this is really, really nice. I appreciate that.
Organizers. It's really
neat.
They're peeling a little bit, but apart from
they
that,
still look good.
Yeah, they still look fantastic. They do have purple as a player color. That's half a point for me at least. So there are a lot of cool things going on with this. I do believe it is a bit of eye candy. I love the presence that it gives off of this. So I'm actually probably... Now, the one thing that is missing that I have coming in the next Kickstarter is they actually have the actual locations as buildings. So you will see buildings on the board, as well as there's some upgraded pieces that are coming in that are actually going to build this. So right now, I do think it is probably at an 8.5. But I think once the...
But this is your Kickstarter version. This is not retail.
Yeah, this is not what you
This is
get out
not
of the
retail.
box.
No. You don't get the player mat. You get a normal board with it. But I am excited what they're going to come out with this new Kickstarter. That I think it will take it probably to a 9.5 and to a 10. But right now with all the Kickstarters, I believe that it's at an 8.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I think probably is there. I think it's kind of a mixed bag. Some of the pieces are really outstanding, and other pieces are subpar. And
well, you could tell which ones came out from the what are in the main game and what's the Kickstarter, and they're slowly adding the upgrades to where.
Hopefully they'll upgrade the player boards because they're very thin. Nothing sits nicely. It'd be nice if it was able to store easily in different places. The tokens, some of them are it's really odd. They have poker chips for some, and then things that look like poker chips and look like they should be poker chips but are not on the others. That's really odd choices. Just it seems like it's a mixed bag, and I think 8.5 is probably about where I am because the stuff that is upgraded is really nice.
Yeah.
It does take up a huge amount of space, though. It's a huge table hog.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of the one thing that it is very much.
That's
an
not really a
open
negative,
world.
though.
No, yeah, it's just an open world, and
You just got to have the space for it.
you do have to have the space for it. It is pretty large. So you are okay with that 8.5?
8.5 is fine.
What about you?
Well, I hate giving. I mean, I think an 8.5 is a good score with what you got, but I don't know what it was if you get the retail version. So I really hate to tell you that this is an 8.5 game when you're not seeing an 8.5 game. You're
certainly
seeing the Kickstarter 8.5 game. So just take that into account. This is 8.5 as the Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah, I think if you remove all the Kickstarter stuff, like all the special upgrades that you can purchase, this is probably going to end up a 6 because the cards you see here are the standard cards, and are still
the cards are great.
So the cards are good.
Yeah.
The miniatures are still there in the base game.
Although they're a little hard to tell who's who because sometimes the position of the mini is not the same as the position on the card.
Yeah, I will say I want to paint these. But
they're still cool.
Yeah, no. So the miniatures are part of it. The dice are still part of it. The cards are still part of it. So
I think it's more of a 7.
I think now that I'm talking about it, I think the base is probably more of a 7.
But I'm not seeing that personally. This is all.
So I just know what was in there originally, and I do think with this it's an 8.5. But I think with the new stuff that's going to come out,
it's got 3D buildings on it. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, I'm super excited for it.
That could easily push us up to 10 range. I mean,
yes. So we'll probably do a showing when we get all the pieces together when the new Kickstarter comes out, kind of do an open box. But yeah, so very exciting for me. So let's talk about theme. Guys, this has everything. You can rob a train. You can rob a bank. You could rob each other. You can arrest people. You can send them to jail. Or you could just duel them if you want. You can go get some cattle, take them to the train, or you could steal cattle to take to another place and sell your cattle. Everything iconic for Western you can do in this game. You can go mining for gold. You can go against the bandits. You can be a wanted. You can be a marshal. There's story-driven stuff. Theme-wise, this has got to be a 10. I mean, it literally is a open-world RPG kind of game. And I'm sad to say in this particular game through, we didn't do a lot of that, role-playing bit. But yeah, I mean, this is, for me, it's a 10 as far as theme goes. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I thought Rob was role-playing being thrown in jail a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when we talk about gameplay, my opinion is very different than theme. But theme, yeah, I mean, it's got a really strong theme. It don't feel pasted on. It definitely feels like a big part of the game and all the mechanics. I always look at theme and mechanics. The mechanics pushes the theme, and it most certainly does. I think it's a solid 9 thematically.
Yeah, I'm probably with you on a 10 because of the story cards being added into it, because that story cards add a lot of flavor, even though there's not a lot of text on them, it's really hard to read them, which is, I guess, more of a quality issue. The story is there, which is really cool. Sometimes it's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're getting, and sometimes you think you're doing something good, and it turns out bad, but that's, part of the story. So I think that, with that, it pushes it up to a 10 for me as far as theme.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about rules. So the cheat sheets for these, that's the most important thing for me. These cheat sheets are absolutely amazing. All you really do need is to get this to go. It highlights exactly what you need to do for the player sequence, what those different action items are, and then what all the icons mean at the different locations, as well as the back to help you with anything further. This is all you need. You can jumpstart this for people that don't already know the game.
I totally disagree with you, but yeah, so it is a good cheat sheet for the basics. Problem is this game has a ton of rules, especially when you
That's
add
what I'm saying.
in.
You need somebody to know the rules, but then if you have someone that knows the rules, you can just get by with the tech sheet.
Yeah,
the problem is we don't play this enough.
Right, we didn't have anyone that knew the rules. So we were winging it, and as a result, we'd be kind of finding things out after the fact during this game, which detracted from my opinion of the game. Rob had a difference, from detraction from the fact that he kept getting thrown in jail. The rule book it's a big read because first of all there's 2 of them if you get the main expansion ante up. Then you got all these little auxiliary sheets. It's the same legendary problem again. So you have all these little bits and pieces.
If you have a comprehensive rule book, you'd be better off.
That's what's coming out in the new Kickstarter.
That's
so
good.
The new Kickstarter has an all-encompassing rule book, if I remember correctly. So they're putting all the rules together.
That's what it needs.
They're solidifying that along with the new expansion bits. That's what it's. They're also doing the buildings. So
I thought they'll have a comprehension cheat sheet.
We'll see. We'll have to see.
That would be nice.
So we'll see what this comes out. But I really think this expansion almost feels like a closure expansion to where it's wrapping up. Like they're wrapping up the series.
I hope so because it's already overwhelming. It's to the point of I don't want to play it because there's too much to it. Level at this point.
And here's the thing.
You didn't play with everything, right?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't play with everything. No.
So
we didn't even go to this side of the board when we could have.
Yeah, but we didn't include everything either.
But I will say, the more players, you're more apt to go over here because it starts to get. And here's the thing about this. We're kind of talking about rules, and this goes into more a theme. This game can really turn one way or another depending on your players. So, for example, if you have a bunch of people wanting to go through the wanted track, you have people constantly stealing from each other left, right, and left, right. And I've been in a couple of games like that, and it's been interesting. Okay, how do I dodge people? I want to stay the furthest away from people as I possibly can because they're going to come after me. There's there's 6 people playing and 4 of them are wanted. You only have 2 people maybe on necessarily on the good side. Trying to corral all the outlaws, right? And makes it a very different feel than where most people were on the martial track, but then we had one person on the wanted track this go around, and so it felt very, very different. So, the feel of this game can alter just with your players, and that's part of what you get when you get that kind of open world mechanics involvement. So, let's wrap up rules.
Yeah, because of the fact that they're so disjointed in the rules, and the fact that it's basically a hunt and peck every time you have a question on anything in this game, because there's just so much to it. I think it'll go up once we see if they get this comprehensive rule book. That'll be a game changer as far as the rules go. But I can't give this more than a 6.5 the way it is, and that's only because the cheat sheet is so good.
And again, it's because there's so much to this. It's not just the base game.
Yeah. Now, as far as the base rule book goes, if I remembered rightly, we only had to read it once and we were able to jump in. So, I think when you start adding expansions, that's when it starts to get a little hairy. If you just start with the base and slowly add the expansions, I don't think it will be nearly as much of a problem.
If you play it
on a regular basis.
Yeah, and if you play it regularly, unlike what we do. We just play so many different games.
Once a year.
Yeah, sadly. So, now let's move to actual gameplay. So, the gameplay, it's very open world, guys. So, you kind of have to decide what you want to do. Your character might help you, like your special ability might tell you. For example, Randy always plays Doc Holliday. After you gain any number of wounds, draw 1 poker card. Wounds do not reduce your hand size. Okay, so obviously you're going to end up playing poker, and you don't care about wounds.
Because he's dying from tuberculosis.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's Doc Holliday, right? Yeah. Where versus mine, if I go against, I reduce people's card by 2, right? So that makes me, I'm more capable for fights. But then you have others that can carry more gold, right? So it just depends on your character, what you kind of get the feel for a game. You can randomize your character, or you can pick from those.
I think that's a positive for this game, though. I mean, you might think it's overwhelming. I think it's positive that you have so much variety for your characters. You got a ton of characters. Mm-hmm. It's hard picking one.
I know. It's so much fun because depending, and this is what I'm saying, this really is open world. And depending on who you have playing, what your goals are, you will have a very different game every single time. So variety for this game could be huge.
I think I had the wrong guy with this group.
Yeah.
It really hurt. So.
Yeah. All right. So let's start going at it. Start a turn. You check for start a turn effects. You move the train to the next checkpoint. The train is an expansion when they add train heists. So This doesn't go in the base game, just so you guys are aware. Then you get to decide if you get $20, 2 poker cards, or $10 and a poker card. So basically you get 2 of either cards or $10. And then you choose your mount and weapon for the time. So if you notice on your player board, there are only 3 item slots, 1 weapon, and 1 mount. Okay, so certain mounts are like, I had a mule that was really good at carrying gold, but then there are other mounts that are way faster, right? So depending on the mount that you place for that round, but your other mount will end up having to go to the item slots, so it will take up some of your items. So you not necessarily want multiple mounts. And the same thing with your weapon. Same thing, different weapons give you different bonuses, but if you have too many, you'll end up holding off your item spots, and your cattle have to go into your items. And you can only carry 1 cattle actually at one time. You can only carry a max of $122, and you can only carry a max of 4 gold coins at any given time, unless you have equipment that lets you alter those rules or special powers. So
I mean, gold nuggets, not coins.
Gold nuggets. Sorry,
you mine them.
Right.
Nougat.
Yep. All right. So action phase. You take 3 different actions. Those actions can consist of moving, take a location action. You'll see multiple locations on the board, and each location offers something different, from mining gold, going to the bank. You could rob the bank. You could end up changing out your gold for cash and victory points, or you can go to the cabaret and enjoy some ladies, or you can end up going to the general store.
Cabaret.
Yeah. Spend money for victory points.
And yeah,
Winner.
winner chicken dinner. Yeah, exactly. Or you could even go to the saloon and play some poker against anyone in the town. So, if there's other players, you can guys go against each other. And then, or you can use an action card. So in the part of the game, there are poker cards. So these poker cards have a value which you will use to attack and also play poker with, but most of them have special benefits at the bottom. Either you have an action which you can trade the card and use it for that action, and it does count as one of the 3 actions that you take during the turn, or it can have a reaction. So if you do X, you can also play this card to do Y. The other option is a bonus action. So if it's played, for example, it would be like, if this is played during poker, this is considered something, right? So again, that's the bonus of it. So if you play it in a poker hand, or it could be if you're playing this in a fight, it does this thing, right? So that's the bonus. That can occur. Then you have the fight. You can arrest, which means you're taking people from the wanted track or your bandits and you're sending them to jail, which gets you marshal points. You can duel, which is just a fun duel. Whoever wins gets a victory point, essentially, but not necessarily, there's no money or gold exchanging hands. Now, you can rob another player, and you can take half of all their gold or half of all their money and all of the cattle that they have. So that can get pretty gruesome. If someone just got back from the gold mine and you still have their load, that's just a shame now, ain't it? And then, so that happens. Then, so you can do 3 of any of those actions. Then you go to end of turn, which is restart resolving the story cards, discard down to maximum hand. If you're wanted, gain the LP. So the benefit of being on the wanted track is you get victory points every single round that you are on the wanted track. The problem is, so the marshal track is not that way. It's a one-time bonus. You reach a certain thing and that's all you get. So it's very beneficial to be on the wanted track. However,
everyone is after you.
Because it is very gruesome. If you let someone just stay on the wanted track, A, they're going to be constantly robbing from you. And then B, they take all your money and it's not much fun.
It's not much fun being the only person on the wanted track.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
So that was my problem.
See, and here's the thing, though. I do think you have a good balance, because we've played like a wholesome game before where no one really wanted to be on the wanted track. And, I mean, I had fun, but there were a few people that were like, well, it's kind of boring. Next time I want to be on the wanted track. Well, do that. Don't be afraid to be on the wanted track.
I am afraid, because I was the only one, and it did not work. I tried it 2 different times and got on there, got total 2 points for the whole game.
No, I think you got 3.
Maybe. And then, so that's all it was. And I was just, bam, I just got knocked off. And then by that time, it was way too late. I couldn't readjust. There's no way I could have won that game. It was impossible.
Well, I mean,
it wasn't fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is like I said, is depending on the group that you play with, you almost have to cater towards to what you play. If you had a few more people, like I'm surprised Randy didn't go. No, he's totally a sheriff kind. Like he's totally a straight-laced kind of guy.
No,
so it's my little brother.
No, I mean, my thing with this game is that the gambling in the beginning, in the base game, if you played it without any expansions, the gambling is not weighted heavy enough.
Mm-hmm.
The ante-up expansion helped. It helped make it add value because previously there was no gambling track. It was you just won the hand, you got one victory point for it, and that was it.
Well, and the money.
Well, yeah, but you got one victory point. Whereas you don't go up on the Marshall track, you don't go up on the wanted track.
But you stay in town.
Yes.
Right, so you have less risk because normally the
sheriff, yeah, whatever.
Nearby.
But the fact is you don't. I've never won this game out of ever, or come in close because I like to do the gambling, and it doesn't pay in this game. And that's one of the problems I have with this game is it feels unbalanced. There's things about it that, like, if you get on the Marshall track and just dominate like Caleb did. He ran away with the score because he was able to take the outlaws in, not to mention all the bandits that are out there, which are just
but we
free
kind of
game
let
to
them.
take.
I mean, but that's the problem is like if there is no competition and you can just go do your thing, then and the problem is like because I saw that he was winning and so I was trying to mess him up, but because I was the only one messing him up, I ended up losing some traction of what I was doing. And that's kind of the thing is this. If you let someone to their own devices, they could very well win. My thing is to you should have stayed here at the poker, kept doing poker, go into the cabaret, immediately drop off your victory points. There's no movement to that whatsoever. So there is a way to win if you have the poker cards, and so that's kind of the piece to this that, there are strategies, like if you're not in it just to have fun, there are ways to just min and max.
Mm-hmm.
But is that any fun?
It could be.
I mean,
if that's what you're into. You like playing poker.
Well, I mean, then that's true. But then, like I said, then you immediately go to cabaret, turn in your money for those victory points. You didn't do it.
You get to play cards and check out the women. But it's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully,
but it isn't going to pay out nearly as fast as what Caleb was turning around on his. And also,
that's
the
not
wanted track
necessarily
is the same thing.
It could, because if you're just staying in this little area, he has to go kill, drop off. Kill, drop off.
Or
that's a lot of movement.
Or take out a bandit.
Or take out me.
Outlaw.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the piece of it too. And then but the gold track can be very, very beneficial. Especially, I get the mule, I get to hold 6. I just got to go here, get 6. And if I have no one messing with me, that's absolutely great and dandy. Well, actually, what it is go get your gold, turn your money into gold, go to the cabaret, and then you do this circuit here. But the problem is then you start having people interfering. But I have to travel a bunch, right? Where you wouldn't have. So that's the thing is like when we initially played it, you said, "Oh, the gold's too much."
Oh, I think the gold too.
Well, the thing is you're saying the Marshall is, but the gold is.
Well, no,
everything is. That's kind of the point.
I just don't think the gambling is weighed up. It's heavily. And I think the being on the wanted track, being alone on the wanted track, is a bad thing too.
Yeah.
I do. Yes.
I'm not going. If and when I play this again, capital if. I will not be on the wanted track alone. I won't do it. It's a dumb way to go in this game.
Corey Corey managed it. Corey won with just being on the wanted track alone, but then we had people that didn't want to go after him.
Yeah.
Andrew don't mind going after people. I don't.
Yeah, no problem going after me.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He has no problem going after anybody. So I think this is because it's open world, it's all about who you have at the table and the kind of the fun that you kind of get with that.
I guess. I just didn't have fun with it.
I'm so sorry.
It's nothing to be sorry about. It's okay not to have fun at all the games. So.
Yeah, I just like this game, and I'm sad that you didn't like it. So, I mean, it's more of an RPG kind of style game.
That's not a bad thing. I love RPGs.
I just think with you going on the wanted track alone, it did not help this game any for you.
Not for me. So, but that's okay. It's all right. I learned, and so do it next time. I'll do it different.
Yeah. So let's give it a score, guys. What about you?
I mean, I know it is a good game. It's not like my kind of game, so it's kind of torn. I'm torn on it because I don't want to evaluate it badly because of the fact that this is not a game for me.
Right.
It is I'm probably about 7.5 on it. If I balance the fact that I know the fun other people have with it, and the fact that it does have good mechanics in it, it definitely is all encompassing of everything Western, as far as all the different aspects of Western. If we're looking at the holistic picture, this definitely has everything except for maybe the town building, but it's already built. So yeah, I think 7.5 is about where I'm at.
What about you?
I don't, and I apologize. I didn't have a good time with it this time around, so I don't know if I can give an honest opinion. But I can't give it anything less than a 5 because, I think with Catan being 5, you got the robber with Catan that really jacks up your game. And I felt like that's what was in my position. It felt like there was the Catan robber just kept jacking with everything I was doing and just blocking.
Except for it was the Catan do-gooder.
Yeah, just totally blocking everything I could do. So I can't knock it for that. It's just part of the game, and I wasn't able to recover from that. And it's not the game's fault; it's my fault. So I can't knock it for that. But at the same time, luck is a huge part of that. We didn't really talk about luck.
Yeah.
But you got luck in the cards. You got luck about the decks that you play against, because it's not just the other people's hands. There's this other attack deck that happens. And so that's a big part of it.
Well, the legendary tokens, I got 3 of them. I got a 0, a 1, and a 1. Miranda got 1 and got 4 points on it.
And so, luck is a huge part of it, and there's no real way to mitigate that luck. Other than flooding your hands with the poker cards. But again, you don't know what's coming up against that attack deck. There's some nasty cards in that little thing. And so it's that luck is, I guess, I don't mind luck in a game, but it just kind of adds a little bit more salt to the wound. Mm-hmm. It just made it a little bit worse. And so I think I'm comfortable with giving this a 7.
Yeah. So here's my thing about this. If you are wanting to play to win in this game, I don't think that's the point in this game. Yes, you get victory points, and yes, you do things, but it's more about the stories you can tell within the game. And when you take that, and that's the thing is if you think about straight up mechanics, it has some very solid points to it, but I do think this is you have to have the right group to play this. Mm-hmm. And I do think you have to have the right feel for this. Like, if I'm wanting a crunchy game, I'm not coming to this game. Even though it's crunchy, it's got a lot of stuff going on. If I want strategy, this is not the game for this. Right. If I want to strategize to win, this is not the game. This is the game that it plays up to, I believe, 6 players. You come in and you're just making a mess and roughhousing with each other on the board. And I think that's where this comes into game. This comes into play.
That's why it blows my mind that you like it as much as you do.
No.
This is the exact opposite of what you talk about.
Right?
Your theme is leave me alone. Let me do my thing.
It is.
And you can't do that in this game.
No, you absolutely
cannot. In fact, I think you were the one saying, leave me alone,
let me do my thing.
thing.
And everybody's like, no, or I'm one-tagged it. And like, well, that's a bunch of crap.
Well, I think because I knew going in, I know what this game is about, right? Because this is very much more like RPG-driven. At the end of the day, winning is a moot point because you're just trying to do things in this story, and you're trying to get the cards to have more story and more involvement.
I just think you're an alien. This is not the Miranda that I know and love.
Well, okay, so like in certain moods, I would not be able to play this game. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. It's just like Survive that we played the other day with that takeout element. There are certain days that I'm not gonna be able to play it. That is the same for this game. There are certain days I'll be a little sensitive and not be able to play this game, okay? But it is absolutely a great game. It has great mechanics. It has a great feeling. It has an enjoyment. There's poker. I mean, everything that you can want in a Western game. So I am probably going to give this. I did buy all the things for it, to be fair.
You better like it.
So I'm probably going to give this a 9.
Ooh.
The reality is, for what it is, it is an amazing game. And I don't want to dismiss from that, even though there's certain days that I'm not going to be able to play this because I know the kind of game that it is. Then there's other days I'm absolutely going to love it. So,
I will say, in its defense, this game is another one that is an experience. Mm-hmm. It's it's something where you talk about it after. Well, this happened and this happened in this thing.
Yeah.
It's not something you're going to put away and forget about. So for that, it does, earn some respect for me because I love those kind of games that give you that feel that it lingers with you, and this one definitely does.
Yeah, I mean, and Robert's going to complain about being on the
absolutely.
watching truck for
Absolutely.
at least a month, right?
At least.
So, I mean, and that's the thing is, Randy's going to complain about the hand that he lost, right? So
I just don't know why we weren't playing like Bon Jovi or something in the background. I think that would have only made the game better. So.
Then we would have had to have steel horses.
Well, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. I had an absolute blast. And hopefully we'll see you guys again. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.